Hi there guys, so this is the second attempt at doing this video. Didn't realise I had a bit of smudge on the camera lens, so I thought I'd redo this. So this is my DIY egg tumbler. I've got two female peacocks, blue peacocks holding. I didn't know how long they'd been holding for because I bought them from the shop and they were already holding. So I thought I'd start to strip one of them and got these eggs out of it, as you can see. A couple of little tiny stones in there as well, but all the others are eggs. You can see the little tails there. So I'll just clean this glass up a little bit so we can get a bit more focus on that. No, it's not going to focus through this, I don't think. No, it's not going to focus. But you can see the eggs bouncing around in there. Let's come away a little bit, probably be a bit better. There you go. So you can see the little fry and the little tails bouncing around in there. So I've got this on a very fine airline tube, just pulsating a little bit just to keep the eggs off the bottom and rotating around, just like the mother would do in her mouth when because she's a mouth brooder. So that's what I'm doing. So just to take you through the setup here, I've got a piece of clear acrylic tubing with some sponge inserted into it. This is 40mm pipe, by the way, 40mm union. Then I've got some more clear plastic tube, 40mm again, and sandwiched between the union and the tubing I've got some black mesh, which is a very fine fabric, but it will allow the air through it but not damage the eggs. Well, that's the intention anyway, is not to damage the eggs or the fry as they're growing. So just allow the air to pull the water through and make that pulsating, bouncing sort of motion that the eggs are going through at the moment. So I've got some, like I say, 40mm acrylic tubing. I've got a pipe bracket, which I'm not sure you can see because of the glare from the other tank. I'll just put my hand there. There you go. So I've got pipe bracket with a suction cap attached to it. I might put a second one in there just to keep it nice and sturdy away from the tank edge as well. But it might not be required. I've then got another 40mm union and a 40 to 20mm reducer. Now between that union and the reducer I've got some more of that black fabric mesh, just again to stop any of the fry when they eventually hatch going up right the way through the pipe and into the main tank, or anything else coming into the top and eating the fry. So it just keeps those protected. So on top of the reducer, 20mm reducer, got some 20mm pipe. I've drilled up a hole in there about 5-6mm in size, just to feed some airline tubing in, which basically is fed down and goes and touches the very top of the fabric, the second layer of the fabric there. And then on top of that 20mm pipe, I've got a 20mm 90-degree elbow. None of this is cemented together, it's just pushed together, so I can take it all apart and use these parts in other things as well. But I've had this set up for a while now. Like I say, I haven't had the need to use an egg tumbler before, because I've always allowed my females to spit naturally, but as I started to strip her I realised that these weren't quite ready to be taken away from mother yet. So I'm doing the DIY approach and see how we get along with that. Hopefully they'll grow nicely. Okay guys, so also what I'm going to do here as well is I've got a 40mm end cap, which I'm going to drill a few holes in the bottom there, and I can then insert that on the end of that as well. It just gives protection from any other fish or debris going in through that tube and attacking the fry eggs up there. So I'm going to put that cap on as well, so drill that out. Just wait for my drill to charge up. Drill a few holes, probably 5 holes in there will probably do, small holes, and just put that on the end there, and again that acts as another barrier. So there we go, DIY egg tumbler. So here we go with all the parts that you need to make an egg tumbler. I've got some fine mesh here, which was cut off an old skirt of my daughter's, but it's got like a fine mesh texture to it. So pieces of that. I've got two 40mm unions here, one 90 degree 20mm elbow, some 20mm pipe, a 40mm to 20mm reducer, an airline valve just to adjust the flow, an end cap which I've drilled a couple of holes in this. That's optional though, the end cap. One aquarium sucker, a 40mm pipe bracket. Don't particularly like the shape of these ones, to be honest. And some clear acrylic tubing. This is 40mm acrylic tubing. In addition to that, you'll need some airline tubing as well, because you'll need to be drilling a hole in there. So I've already got one made up. I'm not going to cut some new piping just to show you, but I just want to show you the components and basically how you put these things together. So first of all, I would take a bit of 20mm pipe in, and I would drill a hole in this that will take the airline tubing, because then what you can do is you can feed it through. Then I'll take some of the mesh. This is going to be interesting to do this left-handed, but I would take the reducer, put a bit of the mesh over the top of that, and insert that 20mm piping in there, and then just cut off the excess. So that forms the top of the bottom part of the egg tumbler. Is very similar, but in this case you take some of the mesh, insert it over the top of the union like so, and then insert your clear plastic piping in there like that. Just push it in slightly and just clean up the edges of the mesh, and you'll find that gets a nice tight fit and very tight sort of at the bottom there. So that forms the bottom of your egg tumbler. You'll also want to put some of this clear acrylic tubing or some normal 40mm pipe on the bottom of that union. What I've done on my egg tumbler is I've put some sponge inside that at the bottom, and then I can put a cap on there as well if I want to, or you can just put a cap on, and basically you'll have a closed system at the bottom that will allow the water to flow through but not allow any fish to get to the eggs, which will sit on that bottom part of the egg tumbler. So it should look something like that once the bracket's in place. And obviously all this will be cut and tidied up, so this will be the bottom part of it, and again, like I said before, you'll have the end cap on the bottom as well with another bit of acrylic, so it should look something like that, or a little bit of gap between it. And then for the top it will look something like this. So you see what I've done there is I've put the reducer into the union, and then the 20mm pipe into the reducer, and that will be sandwiched with the mesh. Then obviously got the 90-degree bend. I've just fed the air tube through the top there. You can do it that way, or you can drill a hole through the side or through the top here, but I'm just doing this to show you how I've done it. It's up to you where you want to drill, if you want to drill at all. As long as this tubing goes down and touches where the mesh is, which will be roughly about here, that will just allow the bubbles to then force the water up through the tube and then out through the top here. There you go, that's the egg tumbler I made before, all in place. I've actually put two brackets on this now, so I'll put one at the bottom there just to sort of steady it a little bit. I've got a nice bounce going there, just gentle. You don't need it bouncing up really rapidly because it will damage the eggs and kill the fry. So you know, just gently, and you can adjust that with the airline valve that you put in between there as well. So just adjust it until you get it just right for you. Okay, thanks for watching.